Hey everyone, bet you've heard a ton about AI lately, especially this whole GPT-4.5 Orion thing. They got a whole pile of articles and research here. And whoa, things are getting wild. So ready to cut through all the hype, see what's actually going on.
Absolutely. This isn't just like, your typical software update. We're talking a whole fundamental shift in how AI is, being developed.
Yeah. Like the old O models felt kind of like they were trying to teach AI to think step by step, almost like, I don't know, like a superpowered calculator or something. But Orion's different. It's more about intuition. Like, that friend who just gets you.
Yeah.
Without you having to explain everything.
Perfect analogy. It seems OpenAI is moving away from that structured step-by-step reasoning. It's going towards something that feels a lot more, akin to human intuition,
Yeah.
And a big chunk of that shift. It's because of something called unsupervised learning.
Okay, unsupervised learning.
Yeah.
So that sounds kind of like letting a kid run wild in a library and just hoping they'll learn something, right?
It's a little like that. So instead of feeding the AI, labeled data like showing it cat pictures and saying cat, they basically just dumped it into this huge data set and were like, figure it out, buddy. Like, imagine learning a language just by listening to people talk, not memorizing any grammar rules.
Whoa, that's crazy. So is this like the end of neatly labeled data sets for all future models then?
It's possible. This whole unsupervised learning thing, it's got some folks thinking it could be the final pre-training stage before we move on to something else entirely. But for now, Orion's success with this approach is, it's really shaking things up.
That is wild. And hold on, they're also saying this AI has like emotional intelligence, EQ. Are we about to start having heart-to-hearts with our computers now? Come on.
Not quite. It's not about AI actually feeling emotions, not like us. Think of it more as understanding human nuances, like tone and intent.
Okay. That makes me feel a little less like we're about to be ruled by robots. Phew. But so how does that actually work in real life? How's that play out?
So there was this test where they gave GPT-4.5 and the older GPT-4.0 an angry text message and asked them to rephrase it politely. The GPT-4.0, very blunt, almost robotic, But GPT-4.5, it actually rephrased the message showing it understood the sender's frustration, which is honestly pretty remarkable.
Wow, that's a huge difference. Imagine if our customer service bots or those virtual assistants, imagine if they could actually get our emotions. It'd completely change how we interact with tech, wouldn't it?
Exactly. Instead of feeling like we're talking to a brick wall, we could have these more natural, helpful interactions with all our devices.
All right, so we've got Orion learning differently, maybe even picking up on our feelings, but can it,
Yeah.
what can it do? What's it good at?
Yeah.
What's it not so good at?
So on the good side, it's blowing people away with its creative writing. It's amazing. It's also showing way fewer of those hallucinations where AI just makes stuff up. And its vibes test scores are through the roof.
Oh, that vibes test.
Yeah.
What even are those?
Basically, they measure how well the AI captures human-like communication. Things like tone, style, even humor. It's another way to see how natural the AI feels.
Interesting. So it's like Orion aced English class, but skipped math.
You got it.
Yeah.
It excels in stuff that needs creativity, intuition, understanding human emotions, all that. But it's not going to replace those, super specialized AI models, the ones that are awesome at logic, complex calculations, coding, that kind of stuff.
So not a one-size-fits-all AI then?
Nope. And there's another big thing to think about. Cost. This new approach, it's powerful, but it takes a lot of processing power. It makes it pricey.
Makes sense. So it's a trade-off. Incredible capabilities, but, with a heftier price tag. Now, you mentioned a test with a unicorn drawing earlier. Did Orion actually, create a unicorn?
Yes. That test shows just how differently these models are being judged. Imagine asking a bunch of AIs to draw a unicorn, right?
I'm picturing rainbows, glitter, a majestic horn, the whole shebang.
You're getting it. But what's fascinating is how each AI tackled it. Older GPC models basically spit out a bunch of abstract shapes. Not exactly unicorn material.
Sounds more like modern art than a mythical creature. So what about Orion? Did it do any better?
Well, that's where things get really interesting. Orion actually made something that, it kind of looked like a unicorn.
Seriously. So this AI can draw, for real.
Draw might be a bit strong. It made something called an SVG image. That's, it's a vector graphic, more like a digital blueprint than a detailed drawing,
Okay, so maybe not a Da Vinci, but still pretty impressive for a computer. Does this mean we're about to see AI take over, the whole art world? Galleries full of robot paintings.
Let's not get too ahead of ourselves. Orion's unicorn is a step toward AI, well, understanding visual concepts, but it's still a far cry from, what humans can do, real artistic ability. And remember, it's just one test. Got to see how it does with other creative stuff before we crown it king of art.
Right. Keep things in perspective. But it does make you think about, like, what creativity is, doesn't it? If AI can get emotional stuff, make art, maybe even write a hit song, what does that say about us? Is human creativity really special? Or are we just like super complex algorithms ourselves? Deep stuff.
That's a big one. And I don't think there's an easy answer. But one thing's for sure. AI is making us face these questions. Questions about, well, what it means to be human, to think, to feel, to create. It's all up for grabs now.
Definitely gives us a lot to chew on. Speaking of thinking, you said earlier this whole intuition thing with AI, it changes how we think about the world. Can you, unpack that a bit? What's the takeaway for, normal people?
This is where critical thinking is so important, because AI is learning on its own now, making its own connections. There's a higher chance of bias sneaking in. Gotta watch out for that.
So even though AI seems more intuitive, more human, we can't just, believe everything it tells us.
Exactly. Think of Captain Kirk from Star Trek, right? All gut feelings, bold moves. Sometimes it works brilliantly. Sometimes, it blows up in his face.
Yeah, Kirk definitely trusts his gut. And sometimes it's awesome, but sometimes, oh boy, does it backfire. So are you saying we need to be more like Spock? Like carefully checking the AI's work, even if it sounds right?
Bingo! We gotta sharpen those critical thinking skills so we don't get, swayed by AI's smooth talk, especially as it gets better at sounding like us, mimicking human intuition.
Yeah, it's a really good point. Almost like AI is pushing us to become better thinkers ourselves. Huh? So if AI is getting so good at this intuition, this emotional intelligence stuff, where does that leave us? What makes human thought special, in a world where machines are getting smarter every day?
That's a profound question, and it leads us to the big one.
Yeah.
The future of AI.
Okay, time for some bold predictions. Is this, the dawn of truly independent AI thought? Are we about to have machines thinking and feeling just like us?
Whoa. It's definitely a step towards that, but honestly, I think the next big thing is going to be a hybrid approach, combining the intuitive strength of stuff like Orion with, the more structured reasoning of other AI systems.
So not replacing human intelligence, but working with it, building tools that help us think better, be more creative.
That's a great way to put it. And that's what makes all this so exciting. And to be honest, a little bit scary.
Yeah, I can see that. AI that gets our emotions, makes art, understands what we mean. It's mind-blowing. But so where do you see this going in the next few years? What's your big prediction for AI?
Okay, here's one that might sound a little crazy. Within 3 years, AI won't just be helping with creative stuff. It'll be leading it.
Wait, you're saying AI will be writing symphonies, screenplays, designing clothes, all on its own?
You got it. And not just churning out generic stuff. I'm talking pushing boundaries, coming up with truly original stuff. Imagine an AI-composed film score perfectly capturing the emotion of a scene, or an AI-designed fashion line, totally reinventing what style is. It's coming.
That's a wild prediction. Part of me is excited. Part of me is, a little freaked out, not going to lie. What happens to human artists if machines can make art just as good, or even better? It's a little scary.
It's a valid concern, and it's something we all need to think about, as a society, I mean. But I don't think it's as simple as AI replacing humans. I see it more as a collaboration, a new kind of partnership, where human creativity and AI innovation, they work together.
Like a human composer and an AI working on a symphony. A fashion designer using AI tools to, explore new ideas.
Exactly. I think the real magic will happen when we see AI not as a threat, but as a tool, a partner that helps us push the limits of what's possible. That's where the fun begins.
I like that. It's not us against them, it's us with them, building something amazing together.
Exactly. And it's not just about art either. This whole AI intuition thing, it could change everything. Healthcare, education, even helping people resolve conflicts. It's huge.
Okay, now I'm really intrigued. How could AI with EQ make the world better? Give me some examples.
Imagine AI therapists giving personalized support, educational tools that adapt to how each kid learns and their emotions, or even AI mediators, helping people work through disagreements by understanding how everyone's feeling.
Now that's a future I can get behind.
The possibilities are, they're pretty much endless. But it all comes back to this. We got to develop AI carefully, ethically, with human values in mind. We need to make sure these tools are used for good, to build a world that's, well, a world that's better, more just, more creative.
Yeah, it really feels like we're like right on the edge of some incredible stuff. But all this talk about AI, intuition and emotions makes me wonder if AI is getting so advanced, does that mean like humans are becoming less important? Whoa.
That's a question a lot of people are, yeah, they're wrestling with that one. As AI evolves, it kind of forces us to look in the mirror. Like, what does it even mean to be human anymore? If a machine can make art that, really moves us, or write a song that, like, hits us right in the feels, what does that say about what we do? What makes us special?
Yeah, it definitely brings up some like deep questions about, I don't know, our place in the world and about art too. Like, does art become less meaningful if a machine can do it just as well? Or even better? It's kind of unsettling.
It's a debate we've had before, actually. Think about when photography was invented, right? Some people freaked out thinking it would, like, destroy painting because photos could capture reality so perfectly.
I see what you mean. Like, why bother painting if a camera can just do it?
Exactly. But what happened? Photography didn't kill painting. It became its own art form, with its own style, its own way of, well, of expressing things. It didn't replace, it added something new.
So maybe instead of worrying about AI replacing human creativity, we should be thinking about how AI might, I don't know, how it might change our whole idea of what's possible.
Exactly. AI could open up these whole new ways of making art, expressing ourselves.
That's a much more optimistic way to look at it. It's not us versus them. It's like, how can we work together?
I think that's the key. AI can be this incredible tool for, well, for boosting human creativity. Not replacing it, but making it stronger. Imagine what we could create if we teamed up with AI, combine our strength. The possibilities are huge.
It's exciting to think about what we could achieve together. But as we go further down this road, we got to be careful, right? We can't forget about ethics, about making sure this tech is used for good.
Absolutely. The choices we make now about AI, they're going to have a huge impact down the line. We've got to get it right. We need to make sure these powerful tools are, they're used ethically, that they benefit all of humanity.
This deep dive has been, well, it's been a real eye-opener. We've covered so much. The shift toward AI that's more intuitive, the idea that AI could actually lead in creative fields, and the fact that we all need to, like, level up our critical thinking skills to keep up with all this crazy tech.
It's been awesome chatting with you about all this.
And to all our listeners, we'll leave you with this. If AI can get our emotions, if it can make art that touches our souls, what does that tell us about consciousness itself? Is it something only we have? Or can it come from anything complex enough, whether it's biology or, well, artificial intelligence? Whoa. This is just the start of the AI revolution, folks. And the answers to those questions, they're going to shape the future we build. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.